Toko Imports. I'm Mr. Toko, and here we are at my store in Ithaca, New York. And the first thing you're going to notice when you come to see me is that this is a combination hat store and hand drum store. That came about from, and somewhere along the line, I guess about 25 years ago, I was introduced to African instruments. And they captured my heart for the simplicity that they represent and the beauty that they bring to the world. So over the years I have learned to play these drums and repair these drums and make these drums. And behind me are pictures of our history here, and there are thousands of people that have come here to buy drums, and I've sold every single one of them one by one, face to face. And I plan to continue doing that for as long as I can do it. You can see a wide variety right in front of me, and you'll always find a good variety of drums here. So I invite you to come here, take a look around, talk to me, talk to other people who have been here, and I'm sure that you will enjoy the experience here. And if you don't walk out with a drum, it's okay. I'm glad I met you. Take a look around at my store, and it was a pleasure to meet you. Thank you. Let's talk about drums, okay? The easiest drum to talk about is the most universal drum, and it's basically a frame drum. This one is a Native American style drum made in Minneapolis, Minnesota by a good friend of mine named Wayne Manthe. It has a deer skin, and it has been put in water with walnuts, and it makes a unique and interesting sound. But the color also is something that's very interesting. So, what is a frame drum? Well, a frame drum is just like a picture frame. There's a frame, you take a skin, attach it. This is a goat, it feels a little bit like paper. And as I said, it is found pretty universal around the world. The Irish obviously have one. It'll usually have a wooden handle. It's played with a tipper. Okay? Other frame drums do not need beaters. All we have is a frame drum. It can be played with your fingers. They don't have to be small. Frame drums can be quite large. Okay? So most people know about frame drums, but I just like to mention that how universal that they are. The skin, the size, how they're played varies. Now, let's just make one small change, and we open up a whole new category of drums. Let's just add one thing, some jingles. And what we have is a tambourine family, which you are all familiar with. But basically it's a frame drum. This one has one row. Why stop at one row? Let's add two rows. Here's another tambourine, okay? Here's one, 2 rows, but they're different kinds of metals, which makes it kind of interesting. There's brass and there's nickel, okay? March across the globe. Let's go to Brazil. Here's a pandeiro, okay? Once again, 1 row, slightly different shape on the coins here. Not much space between them. Played differently, of course. Very interesting drum. Let's go over to India. Oh, wow. A little kanjira. Only 2 jingles, but if you hear a professional player play this, it sounds like a drum set. They bend the notes, they jingle, they shake it. It's pretty amazing. Many other kinds are found all over the world, but this is one of my favorites. It is a solid little drum, very heavy jingles, and it is called a rick, R-I-Q. And one person's name comes to mind whenever I say rick, and it is Lane Redmond. Lane Redmond is a woman who has spent a lifetime dedicated to this instrument. She has given lectures, written books. I had the personal joy of meeting her right here in my store one day. She's very personable, and I would encourage you, and I strongly recommend you, to check out Lane Redmond's website. You will be amazed what you can learn about a simple little drum like this. Okay? Well, I want to spend the rest of the time talking about two basic drums, okay? One is the djembe and one is the conga drum. So let me just slide this frame over, move my conga slightly over, and let's look at the djembe. I just want to mention a couple of things about a djembe. Obviously, it is an easy drum to play. It has a rich bass tone in the center, and everybody can find something on the edge. But that's not what I want to talk to you about. You can learn how to play it. I want to talk to you about what I view in the djembe. I'm a person who repairs djembes, okay? So, a lot of times I'll see a djembe with a broken head. What that means is I get a chance to look at a drum from the inside out. So, a drum like a djembe here has four basic parts: the shell, the rope, the skin, and the rings. And they are very, very important to work together to make you have a good djembe. Let's talk about the shell. The shell is the foundation. If you were to go out and buy a house, you might hire a contractor to come in and inspect the house, and one of the places you'd start off would be to look at the foundation. That's critical, okay? The roof can be changed, but we have to have a good foundation. So what do I want in my shell? I want the shape to look something like this, okay? This is the resonator top, and this is the pedestal. I'm just going to use my arms. What you want in that djembe is a wine glass shape. That's very, very important, okay? If the structure on the inside is carved like this, in this angle, more of a martini glass, most likely you're not going to get as good a sound, okay? So that's really important. Rope needs to be low stretch, and you need to have enough of it. If you don't have enough of these loops, you're going to get in trouble when you try to tighten the drum in the second row. Okay, most people know what that means. But if you don't, come and talk to me about it. The skin is a goat skin usually, and they come in different sizes. They have to seat well with the rings. Okay, so that's also very, very important. So the four elements, the shell, the rope, the rings, and the skin work together. I want to show you two basic things that you should do with your djembe. Okay? A lot of people don't know this. Number one, notice how I'm picking it up. Always pick your djembe up from here. Never grab it from the rings. I know it's convenient, it's easy, but every time you pick your drum up like this, you're loosening the head. So that's the do. Do this, okay? Now, try this at home, okay? Please get yourself a mallet and a sock or a glove and put it here to protect the head, and go around and tap your drum. Tap the rings down. You will be amazed, if you have never done this, how you will tighten your drum up. Okay? So, please try that. Now, remember, when you're playing that djembe, you're always pulling out of the earth and up through the drum. That's the approach for this drum. Think of African dancers, how they move their hands, and get your hands off the drum. When we come to the conga drum, it's a little different. We're taking from the sky and pushing back down into the earth, okay? So it's a very different approach. And a lot of times people will ask me, Tom, what kind of conga do you like? Well, you know, congas are all about skin. It's about feel. I can't even see the drum when I'm playing it, so it doesn't matter what it looks like. Some of the best congas I've ever heard are old, banged-up congas, but you know what? They've been played and they've been touched, okay? And that's what happens when you play the conga drum. So, remember, a new conga drum needs to be broken in. You can't even judge it from the beginning. But if you take the time to practice and to work at this drum, although it has a steep learning curve, you will enrich your life with the beautiful, beautiful sounds of the conga drum. Okay? Well, I love to talk about drums. Look, there's steel drums, tabla drums, tank drums, doumbek drums, cajones, udus. My store is filled with drums, and I love to talk about drums. So please, come on down, find the time, let's talk about drums.